video, folks. Share it far and wide. Share it, share it, share it. That is the only way to get past the notification problem. Share the video, please. Yeah, the only mission right now is to share the video. That's all I was doing while that song was playing. Share it far, share it hard, share it wide. Because the reality of the situation is, we are being blocked. We are being interfered with. The bandwidth, we're testing the bandwidth and they say we have all the bandwidth we're paying for. But then, we know B-Mobile, Digicel, Flow, robbing the people of the country. The Public Utilities Commission is a bullshit organization, not interested in doing its job. We're not getting reports. We're not understanding whose job is what and who's doing what to safeguard the people of the country. There's nobody protecting the people from the banks. There's nobody protecting the people from anything. This morning, a police officer had to send me a message. I get 3 of these for the day. A police officer sent me a message. He was lined up he was going in a bakery to get his breakfast, plain clothes. And a guy who had asked him for money outside, he tell him he had no money to give him, and the fella come inside and provoke him and push, and he had to pull the gun. He says only when he pulled the gun, crack it and raise it, the man realized he was running into a problem that he couldn't handle. The next person I know today get run off the road by a man who insisted on his right to overtake on the wrong lane and pull in on them. And when he come outside from my partner jump out the car with a samurai sword. This is where the country reaching. The country reaching where the people don't feel safe. Your family, my family, every one of us in danger every time. Right now, in your house, you're in danger. Home invasion, somebody sent me a message. Home invasion, amputee sitting down in his wheelchair. People invade their house. You're not safe. You're not safe. The country is not safe. You go and visit people. You're sitting down in their little back porch. You're enclosed with wrought iron. You're safe for a minute. Kill, kill, kill. Laugh, laugh, laugh. You go outside to get in your car. They stop and they're robbing you. Right just now, the bottom of Bonds Road, where everybody's passed by long circular mall. 2 cars, Almira and a Qashqai, or however it's pronounced that. 4 fellas jump out, pull people over like police, rob them. That's where we are. And we all walking around. We all walking around like it cool, like it normal, because as long as the wolf not biting us, we okay. It's not real. It's not real. If the wolf not biting us, I don't know what they did us. I don't know what they did this nation, that the people have gotten to the point where they're impervious to reason. We are dealing with a nation of people walking around numb, fooling themselves, believing that it could happen to everybody else but me. And it's only when you find yourself in the situation, because it escalates like that. It escalates like that. You're driving down the road in the morning with your family in the car. You're trying to come out of the Diego Martin traffic. That these three bullshit stunting artists, Rowley Coleman, who's the ballerina man in charge of Diego Martin Central, Daryl Smith, the three of them can get together with the Diego Martin Regional Corporation and pave the lane that exists under the piece of pavement before Mohammed's Hardware and give the fourth lane. 5 lanes has become 3 to become 4 lanes. This is a shithole of a country. We have jackasses in every office of state. Not one person can stand up and say, I do the best job that I can. I deliver. I look at this country. You could be driving to work tomorrow morning to drop your family, your children to school. And a man decide that traffic too long for me. And he coming down the side. And then he had to pull in. Your job is to let him pull in. Because he driving a fall apart, rent a hustle peak taxi. And if you don't let him in, he gonna bounce you. And when he bounce you, he coming out because you wrong. And you there, if you're a woman or an elderly person, or even a man with something other than a shit car to lose, not willing to get in a scramble on Diego Martin Highway, you're in trouble. And I'm watching the bullshit that passing for leadership. We are stunting this country to death. The newspapers are making an ass of Gary Griffith. And Gary Griffith's media people don't seem to understand that they're using him as a freaking mannequin. They're using Gary Griffith as a mannequin. They're hiding the jackasses, Rowley and Farris and Stewart and the rest of them bullshit artists behind Gary on the front page. Locking up stunters. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, listen, I never hear in the world people who want to kill somebody calling them and telling them. That's madness. All that is stunt to sell Guardian and Express is bullshit. We're going to go and lock up a little 12-year-old boy who's so stupid he dial 999 and say he going and kill the commissioner of police. And that is news. That is news in a nation that have no real news. So that is news to hide the real news. That is thanks to Jack Warner, Earl, Logan. Come now, man. Come now, man. It's Patrick Manning legitimized that. Jack Warner just stamped his own badge on it. All these shit-tongues and shit-snakes doing the same job, working together. Stop looking to pin the blame on one and see the PNM and the UNC with the two sides of the same cancer that it is. Because until we decide as a nation to put the both of them in the political dustbin they're supposed to go into, I want to know, if we're spending $9 billion on national security every year, how it is police going in to hotspots packing 9mm, facing people with AR-15 and AK-47? How come our police vehicles are not equipped with dash cams? So that if something happened to the police officer, you know who to go after. How come? We are a jackass nation. We are playing with ourselves. I call it political masturbation. We laughing and joking. I with my friends, you with your friends, and all of we laughing, but the wolf outside there sniffing. And you reach outside your house, you jump out your car, and you open your gate, and bam, you're telling a story on Facebook. If you're lucky. If you're lucky. Because these people are getting bold. And they're angry. And they realize. They are going to realize that what is taking place is stunting. That it's not serious. This is political policing. We're not serious. Gary is the best at his job, but he is not going to be allowed to do his job. They are going to use Gary Griffith to hide their incompetence behind. Faris Arawi, Stuart Young, Colm Imbert, Keith Rowley, Franklin Khan. We have a government whose only mission is to steal as much as they could. What is going on with Petrotrim is a criminal act. Who do we call? Gary? Who do we call? Who do you call when you realize state office holders are the real criminals? Who do you call? The president? I don't even know her name, much less what her role is in society. Powers come and powers went. He give us one fancy speech. Fool me. Fool me. When he said, the powers you think I have, I don't. But the powers you don't think I have, I do. Well, that fooled me. Jackass me. Say, well, right, finally, counterbalance, because that's what we want. We want a president as a counterbalance. We want a president with the powers to commission a state attorney or a state prosecutor to look into criminal allegations against the prime minister. Because the last prime minister and this prime minister have real allegations hanging over their head. And who do you call? Who do you call? Your neighbor? You can't call the police. You can't call Gary. You can't call Faris. Who do you call when you realize that you are living in a shithole cesspool and that everything is broken by deliberate design, and the government's main concern is to shut down social media so they don't have to deal with the consequences of their action? More than anything, the financiers behind the PNM and the UNC want you to continue to believe that those are the only two choices that exist in this country. Because as long as those two choices get to play eeny, meeny, miny, mo, the same financiers eating big food, but worse, as long as those two parties playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo, nobody being brought to justice. How do you explain 56 years, $3 trillion, a rogues gallery that started from Ish and Steve and Sam P. Wallace and I mean, we run through the gamut. We reach Ish, we reach Steve, we reach Brian Quaitong, we reach Calder Hart, we reach all of them. All of them. And right now, we only going to know this government's bandits when we vote them out. And Jackass says walking around, well, they get fired. Like thieving $150 million. The penalty is a fire year. Who do we call? Who do we call? Who do we call when you realize that we are spending $9 billion a year on national security and have not one shit to show for it? Who do we call? Who do we call when we realize that Gary Griffith could put on a cape, boots, and x-ray vision and will accomplish shit all in a country that is so badly broken? We are producing criminals by the hundreds of thousands. And all the bad boy lyrics from both sides at some point in this country going to accelerate and become action on the ground that we don't need. We don't need war games. We need a government that does its blasted job. We need a government that does its blasted job. This live video started after 9 o'clock. And it's only because people messaging me and asking me, but I fed up. We are a jackass nation. And it is only when shit happens, you all come to find me. Find me now. Come and line with us and line up with us now. Come now. So that when shit reach you, and you call me and us, I could justify dropping everything. People just call me to ask me, boss, check this. Boss, research that. Boss, take a look into this. Boss, put that on blast. Boss, you hear about this? I have become the person they call. We live in denial. We drunk, we high, we snorting, we smoking, because we want to do everything but grow to frig up and take responsibility for this nation. And until that happens, you will continue to have jackass governments doing exactly as they please. And people of two different races that losing the race, playing games with, we time now. We time now. But nothing working. Nothing in this country is working. It has become beyond a criminal paradise. Every time, those stories I told you were broad daylight stories. Until you have a government that takes responsibility for the social fabric of this country, we're going nowhere. You could have 5 Gary Griffith, and Gary's my boy, you all know that. You could bring 10 Gary Griffith accomplishing shit all. A set of low-hanging fruit. A set of little 12-year-old threateners. We'll get that. The country is broken. The system is failing. We do not have a country that works. There are things that I cannot say until you give me parliamentary privilege. There are things that I can't even talk to you about until we have government. There is action taking place. There's criminality going on in this country that I cannot speak to you about. There is no mechanism by which I could report it. There is nobody to report it to. There is nobody to call. And there is no way that I could say it without ending up in a court being sued for defamation. The system is set up to protect the criminals. The system is broken to the point where the law doesn't safeguard justice anymore. And we want to make jokes. We want to laugh. We want to get drunk. We want to get high. We want to come on the live feed and tell jokes, share memes, talk shit. Because we impotent. We feel powerless. We feel like nothing could change. We feel like we cannot impact the thing. So like the audience at a circus, we clapping the clowns, not realizing the joke on us. But we clapping the clowns. And we out there drunk, you know. We out there drunk, we out there high, we having a good time. I watched the entire cycling community stunt. They stunt after Joe Brown. Arrive Alive show up to stunt. We have stunt artists. People don't want to hear me say this, but this is the God honest truth. We've known that we need to put cycling lanes in place, dedicated cycling lanes in place, that if you drive in it, you could get a charge, and a serious charge. You could lose your license because you're putting lives at risk. But we want to stunt for a minute. We want to go with Arrive Alive and pedal for a minute, but we don't want to really stand up and speak out. Because when we take off our tights, we rely on these same political parties for our benefits in life. So we can't bite the hand that feeds us. So Joe Brown, partner, you get run over, rest in peace, God bless your soul, but life goes on. In a country where the most notable chef in the Caribbean was run over by a car, and all that was done for him was a stunt. Joe Brown will not arrive alive. The little British lady that get run over, she is not going to arrive alive. They are dead. They are dead because we don't give a shit. We don't. We'll stunt. We'll pose for the camera. We'll make nice posts on Facebook. But Joe Brown Rest in peace, Pally. Who next? Who loaded in the cannon? Who named next for us to talk about for a week? Not even a week. Joe Brown get 24 hours. How come the entire athletic community of Trinidad and Tobago didn't show up outside the parliament in their red, white, and black, and all the national, all the costumes, where? Cricketer, footballer, track and field, javelin, cyclists, all show up outside the parliament and embarrass the shit out of them. But the majority of us do not care about anybody else. We will pay lip service. And I don't give a shit if the entire Athletic Federation get vexed with me for this. But Joe Brown dead. And somebody else going on dead. Penny Commission husband Bowen, Brian Bowen, they are all over by a car, cycling. And it will continue. You know, in England, if you bounce a pedestrian, you see how in Trinidad, if you bounce a car from the back, you panic because you know you're wrong. If you bounce a pedestrian in the United Kingdom, you panic. So when you see a crosswalk, your first impression is to stop. Because if you bounce a pedestrian on a crosswalk, you're in serious trouble. But not in this monkey land. Not in this banana land. Here, nothing matters. Here, bullshit prevails. Here, once we can drink and pull up with 2-3 friends and kiki the whole night, we good. Let the devil take tomorrow. The devil here, and he come to collect. We live like we do not give a shit about anything. When Joe Brown, and I'm just using this as an example, I could pull anything. When your neighbor house got repossessed and everything, the bank, the unfeeling, uncaring bank that got more than 100% of the value of the property in loan payments, but now your neighbor was going through a hard time because they had a medical crisis in the family, and that same heartless bank come and throw every friggin' thing they had in the street and repossess the house. Having gotten full value for the house, now they own the house. When every single person didn't say, that's it, I banking home. You see, until we really, and let me tell you, vex till your belly button buzz. I watch a woman today with her high-low bag, her massive bag, in her lycra, pull up in her gas guzzler, and I'm thinking, it's so easy to fool these people. So you coming out with a massive bag to advertise for Massey and think you saving the environment, but your leggings is lycra, nylon and elastine, more plastic than the garbage bags, and you're buying them and you're throwing them away at will. We live in a plastic world. 90% of everything we consume comes to us in plastic, is manufactured for us in plastic. It may be carried in plastic. We have no choice. The world that we live in right now, two things hold it up. The internet and plastic. Stop playing the ass. What we need is a plastic management policy. The Progressive Empowerment Party said start with the plastic bottles. The plastic bottles are 90% of what you find in the landfill. It's easy to monetize. It's easy to monetize and then put things in place to deal with safe disposal practices. Once you monetize the plastic bottles, so the indigent and the homeless and the people at the bottom rung could get 25 cents for picking up plastic bottle, there are 700,000 people in this country pretty much unemployable. You may not know that, including the Venezuelans, the Chinese, and the Nigerians that come in here. So you know what? Give them an opportunity to pick the drains, but the labas will drop 4 feet. They will pick it clean, 25 cents a bottle, and start there. So once you start there, because the idea, and this is human nature, is called conditioning. Once you get people into a position called conditioning, once you tell them if you are found littering, you put that 25 cents policy on the plastic bottles, and then you say if you are found littering, massive fine. And you hire people, litter wardens. Put body cams on the litter wardens. I see you littering, you getting a fine right now. And I am getting, the litter warden getting 50% of that fine. So if it's $500 and the litter warden write 10 fine for the day, The litter warden just make $2,500. So all of a sudden people don't want to litter because litter wardens all over the place. And we need that. We have cameras. We have enough cameras in the country. TCZ or some company always shutting down meter minded fixing some camera. But the camera's never working when we need them. When the people pass and fling the box of chicken out of the, give it to CNC3, TV6 and put it on social media. And say, if you know this car, contact the Police Service Act and give a number. And you will get a $1,000 reward. Because you're going to charge that man $10,000 for flinging that KFC box out of the car. So that the driver who driving the car, when the partner fling the box, boy, go and pick up the badass. But we don't want to manage the country. Because if we manage the country, all of a sudden it will start to make sense. And people will want other things to work. Like if you're paying for 100 megabits from Digicel, and you go on Ookla, and you check, and you're getting 36 upload and 31 download, you're supposed to screenshot and send it to Digicel and copy the Public Utilities Commission and get an instant rebate. Instant. So Digicel have a reason to do their job. When WASA send you their bill, you must be able to query it. I only got water 2 days out of this month. You owe me. There is a way and a means to fix everything in this country. But it's not going to happen as long as we play I nice and liking myself and happy, let the devil take tomorrow. It's not going to change. While the line going on, while you're skinning and grinning, in that minute, it working. But at some point, the line have to done. And at some point, you have to go home and face the danger of the drive on the way home, and face the danger outside the gate when you reach home, and face the danger coming out of your car to go to your front door in your own yard, and face the danger when you're inside your house, and face the danger tomorrow morning to do it again, and face the danger when you're reaching your company to find out that they're downsizing because the jackass government that you have in power does not understand how to diversify a simple economy, but is willing to sell the nation's jewels, the sandals, the Chinese, and the 1%, and to ask with the rest of all you. But you skinning, and you're grinning, and you're smoking, and you're snorting, and you're high. Because you have some other plan. When the devil come to take it, you have an escape clause. And that's how we feel. And that's how we behave. We will drive around Joe Brown dead body. 4 accidents in a row. 4 cyclists dead in a row. And by the 5th one, we ain't stopping. We don't look anymore. We don't care anymore. We've seen 3 beheadings, so, well, something else. Burn body, all right, okay, but we've seen that shit. We get numb to the issues that we're supposed to get energized about. We are supposed to be asking the government, what is your social development master plan for the poverty and the at-risk communities? Because no matter which jackass, because we have an abundance of spewing bullshit jackasses who will tell you crime is not a function of poverty, but the people in Westmoreland's not holding up one another to eat tonight or to buy milk and diapers. You see, we just want to play and say that it is just them looking for money to go in Chinese laundry party. We used to say it when they used to have a thing called Chinese laundry party. Them looking for money. When concert come in, them looking to rob you for concert tickets, and that may be true. But the average person robbing you to live, or to feed an addiction that is being used to manage mental illness. Because most people who have to be drunk or high or stoned all the time are having a difficult time dealing with reality, and they are medicating mental illness with illegal drugs. And in a country with a real Ministry of Health that had an understanding of the level of mental illness prevalent in the world today. And it is built on the breakdown of the family, the lack of intimacy. Human beings need certain chemicals produced in their system based on human contact, based on those sorts of things. Having themselves, becoming somebody, feeling like you matter. These things are important. We are not attacking the problem where it needs to be attacked, because we, the people who have the vote, we are the ones making a mess of the shit. And a stunting jackass like Keith Rowley could keep whining in your face and telling you shit. I listened to that man tell the nation, tell the people of Tobago, Penny Saver's full of food. What they're telling you, there are no food in Tobago, but he lied. They may be full of food now, but there were weekends in Tobago where food ran out. You stunting jackass, because you and your partners had to make money off the boat. You and your partners had to make money off the boat. So you had to destroy the Superfast Galatia because the UNC was making money off that boat. So you destroyed that with no plan in place. Them can't thief. What does they say? Thief don't like to see thief with a bag. So UNC people was getting kickback from the Superfast Galatia. So to hell with Tobago, shut down the Superfast Galatia. By spiting the UNC from the kickback, you cut off everybody knows in Tobago. All your supporters, all your followers, all of them. But maybe that was the plan. Maybe what you wanted to do was reduce them to desperation. So they tell them, hush all your ass, let Butch Stewart come and build a hotel fast and need a walk. And again, a million different ways we've said this. But it's not going to change until we change it. It's not going to change until next year's budget cannot be passed unless the government accounts for the money it was allocated for this year. And that each ministry must be able to account for the money allocated to it before it receives any money from the next budget. And when that becomes low, then the government will start to function and the ministries will start to account. But you have a country where THA has not accounted for billions of dollars for 12 years. So the 1% eating all of that. It's not like it's Tobagonians getting it, you know. The same good with Park Bayshore, Val, St. Sinclair Fairways, people who billing themselves nice. They billing themselves off Tobago now. You ain't paying attention to that. Now, I don't know. I swear to you, I don't know if there are enough intelligent people in this country to make a difference. I don't know. I am not the Congress of the People. The Congress of the People came and tried to fool middle-class people and high-class people and 1%. And I was telling them, oh, you can continue with all your bullshit. I'm not on that. So I know I'm not getting that vote. Well, not in the kind of numbers the Congress of the People was benefiting from. Now, I know that the people on the bottom rung who benefited from the URP and the CPEP and the handouts, from the PLM and the UNC who get promised handouts, who can't think past, I don't know. The education system has broken them. A woman tell me tonight, you got educated under the PNM. She nearly made me puke. I learned to count. I learned to read. I learned to write. But that was my state dollars paying for an education system, overpaying for an education system, barely paying for an education system, or barely providing what it was paying for. And then I used that ability and I educated myself. Because I am always hungry for knowledge. And I see people complaining that the feet's sticking, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, but you're living in a country where it is possible for that to be the case. Where right now, while I'm dealing with you, I have two different feeds. I have B-Mobile feed running my laptop and Digicel running this live broadcast, believe it or not. Two different feeds I'm paying for, and still it's not enough. But we can't fix it and we are not going to get anywhere. You will never be safe. Your family will never be safe as long as you continue to vote people into office who do not care about the condition of this country. Until we elect a government to office who understands that the bottom of society needs to raise, until they understand, until you vote a government into office that tells you, do nothing for the middle class, focus on the lowest class, and that will build the middle class 10 times what it is right now. Because that's who spends the money in society, the masses on the bottom rung. So like a rising tide lifts all boats, but we're not trying to do that. Because they think it over. They think the shit has hit the fan. They think right now, snatch and grab, loot the crap out of this country. That's what they're doing. Petrotrin is in looting. TSTT, what is about? What they did when they shut down Christmas time, when you was drunk, when you was snorting, when you was smoking, you was whining. They stole B-Mobile. And now they're stealing TSTT. And I sat down with the hierarchy of the union. And I told them, if you're ready, let's march. But don't let's just march. Let's march with everybody else in the country. Because this can't continue. OWTU needs to work with everybody else to save Petrotrin. The reason we ain't getting nowhere with this Petrotrin issue is because we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, watching two jackass, Rowley and Roger. And we can't pick a side. We can't pick a side. So we don't know what is true and what is lie. And we're watching all kind of abuse taking place. And the 1% laughing all the way to the bank. Because all you have to do in Trinidad and Tobago is bring a foreign white man. Get him a Wiley. All you have to do is bring that. And people say, well, that's an international company. It's a multinational. So all you have to do is go to Australia and set up a company there. Get a mailbox. You're a registered company and you have a mailing address. And let that company in Australia, or it have no staff. All it is a mailing address and a registered company. And let that company open a branch in Hong Kong. Mailbox, registered company, and open a branch in the United Kingdom. It's now a group of companies. And let that company, United Kingdom, work together with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. 3 mailbox. 3 mailbox that being controlled by people in Trinidad. Fooling you. We've seen tenders issued and the government tear up the tender and give it to the person they wanted to give it to. Nobody get arrested. Nobody get charged. Government they get taken to task. We've seen people win the tenders because 4 companies bid, but only 1 company real. The other 3 fake. They were set up to bid. We're going nowhere. And we're going to end up there. And we're playing games. And we're fighting each other. And it's not helping. We're not getting anywhere. Saturday at 3 o'clock. We moved the time to 3 o'clock in Barataria. Come to the pep rally. I will be there, as will the other speakers. Come and add your voice. We have a nation to save. The rest of this, we're wasting time. You want a better country, you're going to have to stand up. If not, snort, sniff, smoke, drink, get high, whine on something that the devil take tomorrow. It's on you. This Saturday, 3 o'clock, Barataria. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.